what's the big deal? I'm trying to follow this, and now
people have literally lost their minds over Taylor Swift being with a football player. I don't know. I don't get it. It is what it is. Like, people date. Like, this is nothing new. But the internet absolutely lost its mind.
Everything that you think you might like, you should try to do. Doing something around passion is very similar to love. You're blinded because you like it. The number one reason I push patience, man, patience. Everybody's looking up to audit themselves where they are now. Is because patience will give you the air cover to take risks. Time is your asset. What I would do is gather as many experiences as possible. The one thing a 20-year-old has over me is 20 years. The 99% that achieve are willing to sacrifice, be persistent, and think in 50-year terms, not 50-day terms.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Leaving the 9 to 5, brought to you by the Lifting Love Podcast Network. I'm your host, as always, Lenny, and alongside of me is my co-host and friend, DJ, the
What's
DJ.
going on, everybody?
Good to see you, DJ. We're back. How was everything with the first episode?
I think it went well. I've heard great feedback.
I've heard great feedback as well.
So hey, let's go. Viewing wise, I think we did good for our first podcast too. So
first podcast ever, the AVD. For those of you who don't know, the average view duration. Sorry, I'm just a little bit of a YouTube nerd. Was super great. I mean, over 9 minutes on a podcast we just started is fantastic. But before we get started, we'd like to thank one of our sponsors today, TechLight Associates. Leaving the 9 to 5 is proudly brought to you by TechLight Associates Incorporated. Call TechLight for all your technology, wireless, or audio-visual needs. Whether you're here in New York, North Carolina, or anywhere in the United States, TechLight has got you covered, even offering financing options for your next big project. So give TechLight a call or visit them online today at techlightassociates.com. Now let's get back to the episode. But yeah, so I think the episode went great. Since then, for the people who don't know, we've actually came up with a name.
Yeah, it's been challenging on us, but we asked a lot of people, community, and I think we got it.
We got it. I think so. So without further ado, if you would like to do the honors, what is the name of the new episode?
Drum roll. Boom. Pop-up logo here. Leaving the 9 to 5 podcast.
Boom. I think that's a great name. It's still a business podcast, whether you're starting your own business, looking into side hustles, whatever it is. We're going to educate people and hopefully bring that awareness that you too can also leave your 9 to 5, that you too can also build your own business, your own brand, and just escape the 9 to 5. I think that is what it is, as DJ's taking pictures for his Instagram.
Yeah, good.
So we want to help you leave the 9 to 5. We want to help you build your brand. We're going to be bringing entrepreneurs. We're going to be bringing business owners. We're going to be bringing people on who do things and how you can do them too. So I like the name.
I think it's great. We're going to get an email for it, so you guys can email us on it, which would be awesome. And then yeah, all in the Lifting Love Network podcast.
This is what we hear, the Lifting Love Podcast Network, and we're excited to be here. So thank you guys for listening, watching, viewing, or subscribing wherever you are. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you watch, comment, like, all the good stuff. Share with your friends, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your little brother, your sister, whoever you know who's trying to make that jump. Let them know we're here. So what do we got? What do we got on today's episode, DJ? What we got?
I think we got to get into snack of the week right now because I am starving.
I know you've been going all morning. Okay, so you go first with your snack of the week. You and your Sam's. So here's my question: are you just gonna keep going Sam's Club until you run out of snacks in Sam's Club?
Maybe that's an idea.
What's your Sam's Club snack of the week?
So that's my thing. Sam's Club snack of the week. Until then we'll go Costco or BJ's. But Sam's
Club. We need that. We need that. That promo. Okay, we need.
Let's do it. That's sponsorship.
Let's do the sponsorship. Right. Come on.
Cool. So I got for you today the blueberry lemon twice bake cookies.
That looks delicious.
It is delicious. It's a bag of literally all these cookies. I'm going to eat one while. Perfect. It's a hard cookie, but sweet and savory, which is I couldn't imagine for a hard cookie. So, what do you got, Lenny?
Speaking of sweet, we have, and this is actually a drop for y'all. This is Gourmet Popcorn 113. For those of you who don't know, I'm also a YouTuber, so we create content, public interviews, reacts, motivation, but our big thing is food reviews. So we actually went and we didn't actually review the food, but we tried every single flavor of popcorn. They have over 20 flavors of popcorn. This one happened to be my favorite, cherry chocolate drizzle. And I mean, dude, it's phenomenal. Also, for those you don't know, I love popcorn like
Can
so
you send
much.
me some?
Uh-huh.
I'll send
I'm
you
gonna
my
send you
address.
some.
See, look, you guys want some? Hey, listen, hit us up. I think we can arrange some things. So
Or not even go to them. They're
oh,
they're in Mountain View. If you're in North Carolina, they're in Mountain View, right off of Highway 127.
New Yorkers, hit me up, and we'll get you hooked up.
3147 North Carolina Highway 127 South in Mountain View. Go check them out. Gourmet popcorn means I'm here.
That looks delicious. What flavor is that?
Cherry chocolate drizzle.
I can't imagine. That
So
sounds delicious. I can't imagine what it tastes like.
I told them I'm a big fan of popcorn. I'm also a bigger fan of dark chocolate. I told them y'all need a dark chocolate flavor, and I'd buy it. All right. So some big news out of the NFL. I know you're not really a big sports guy, but Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce. Do you know who either of them are?
I do. And by the way, is this part of our new segment?
Oh,
that we're adding?
Sorry. This is
nothing off limits.
Nothing's off limits.
See, exactly. Nothing's off limits.
So this is Nothing Off Limits, where we talk about anything and everything that happens, not just in the business world, but all around. So Travis Kelce is now dating Taylor Swift. The reason this is important is because it absolutely broke the internet. People lost their minds. Players and coaching staffs on the field lost their minds and were looking up into the box that she was in. The suite.
I was wondering why I saw her at all. I'm scrolling
25
social media. What is
times.
going on? Well, every other video was that. Like, I'm like, so what's so seeing somebody in public? What's the problem here?
Yeah. So Travis Kelce is the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, and in this week, he got 900,000 followers on Instagram. His jersey sales went up 400%, and people have even been customizing his jersey to say Swifty on the back instead of Kelce. So
I don't even know what to say about that.
It's crazy. It's wild.
Aren't you releasing a video about Swifties coming soon?
Oh no, that video's out. Yeah, we reacted to House Party, Eric's other channel, and 7 people had to fight for. They had to like basically talk amongst each other and then eliminate each other each round to see who deserved to go to the Taylor Swift concert more.
So maybe he should have been on that show.
He should have been. But it's crazy. I mean,
shout out Lifting the Love reacts to that video.
Go check it out. But it's just crazy how like one person can be so influential. But I've been seeing a lot of funny videos on like boyfriends telling their girlfriends like, man, Travis Kelce's really, gonna make Taylor Swift blow up, and meanwhile it's the other way around, and it's just been all over everywhere. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. I don't follow football. I'm not a big sports guy. Hockey, I'll follow. The last couple of years, I really haven't. But New York Islanders all the way, by the way.
Let's go.
And I'm like, what's going on? My mother-in-law is a big Jets fan. I watch Sunday Night Football. The whole fun stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so what's the big deal? And I'm trying to follow this, and now I'm seeing all this. You and I briefly talked it over before coming on here, and that's where we're at.
It's crazy because it has nothing to do with football, and I mean, people have literally just lost their minds. Like,
yeah,
people have literally lost their minds over Taylor Swift being with a football player. I don't know. I don't get it. It is what it is. Like, people date. Like, this is nothing new, but the internet absolutely lost its mind.
I can't believe it myself. So, hey, I saw saw somebody actually saying TikTok today when I was scrolling through, because it's every other video now, and said, who's this Patrick Mahomes guy, because he's blowing up too. And we're like, time out. Have you, like, these are football people, you know that, right? And she's like, no, they're not. Like, that's crazy.
It's crazy because, I mean, I'm a big sports guy, and It was just wild to see like people who've never watched sports talking about sports. It's crazy. But
It's like people talking about tech and podcasts that haven't done tech or podcasts.
that's so easy. That's so this. And then they do it and they're like,
We're learning from week 1 to week 2. We learn every week.
Nothing off limits. Again, second topic. That's all I
What
have.
do you guys want us to cover?
What do you guys want us to talk about? Anything and everything. We'll cover whatever. We'll talk
Drop
about
it in
whatever.
the comments.
Let us
Send
know
us
in
an
the
email.
comments. But seriously, before we get into what we're really going on to today, really good feedback from the first episode for sure. I feel really good, and we just keep rolling, be consistent, and who knows where this can go. This can go anywhere we want it to go.
We're believing for it.
Yeah, I mean,
you guys too.
Let's just make it rock here on the Lifting Love Podcast Network. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what questions you got, what you want us to answer. Because once we start getting comments, we are going to start having a segment where we answer comments. So if there's something you want to know as far as leaving the 9-to-5, jobs, like anything, like we want to be here. We want to be a resource to help you guys, educate you guys to the best of our abilities. We're not experts, but sometimes the best experience in life is learning through actually doing it, right? So, we want to be
exactly. You're going to experience from myself and from Lenny, and just us leaving our 9-to-5, our day jobs, and just being able to like, hey, how do you guys do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
That's what we're here for.
We want to hear from y'all, so make sure you drop a comment. But that's a new segment that we wanted to announce. But let's get into what we wanted to talk to about today. You take it away, DJ.
So, Lenny, I want to hear all about you. Tell me, and the viewers, who is Lifting Love? It's not just Lenny. There's a bigger picture to it, I'm pretty sure. You've told me segments over time, and I think it's just fair that we hear your journey, because I met back to our story, when we met, you were volunteering at our fire department, our local fire department here on Long Island. And then all of a sudden you vanished. So tell me from those times, even if you have to rewind a little bit, tell me from what got you from the fire department to North Carolina to Lifting Love to, I'm sure it's all jumbled up in between. So the stage is yours.
Yeah, I mean, that's a loaded question. So if we're going to talk Lifting Love, man, we got to go back, way back. So I mean, that's, like I said, that's a loaded question. So to go back, probably my childhood, never knew what like my whole life, like, up until 6 months to 2 years ago, never really knew what I wanted to do. But there were a couple things I was really good at. And that was talking to people and being on camera. So kind of mixed everything together. As a kid, I had a mom who was a Facebook mom. We grew up in that era where, phones and cameras and kind of social media began. And I was kind of always on camera at some point. My mom she was a PTA mom, so she was involved in all the events. So I always got to meet and talk to and interact with a lot of people. So I knew from a very early age I was super social, and I just loved being, I don't want to say center of attention, but for lack of better words, center of attention, right? And I knew I could handle it really well, and I enjoyed it. So Lifting Love, everything that Lifting Love embodies is it's all dedicated to my great grandmother, my great grandma Nancy. She was, my best friend. She was someone I looked up to and idolized very much. In her memory, we actually created the Lifting Love Foundation Incorporated. So we feed families. She was one of the founding people, or I don't want to say founding people, but she was one of the founding people who kind of like got the word out about Meals on Wheels. So we had the nonprofit started. That's for her. So Lifting Love is kind of part of, her memory, her legacy. And so going back to, like I said, my mom was a Facebook mom, always on the camera, and I don't know. I don't know where it took off from there. I just know I was in high school, and then transitioned to high school. I was like, I'm going to be a teacher, like blah, blah, blah. Have my teachers telling me you should be a teacher, this and that. And I was like, I don't know. Screw it. I went with it. ended up not doing it. Went to college, went for communications. I did a public speaking class. I was like, oh, this is it. Like, I love talking to people, learning how to communicate, all that stuff. And so, yeah, after college, I mean, I didn't graduate because COVID happened. But COVID was probably the best thing that ever happened. So December before COVID, so 2019, I actually was I met with the chief of the fire department. And I got an application, blah, 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 put my application in. It takes like 2 months. You have to do background check. So I put it in, and I was supposed to go to my first meeting just, April 1st of 2020. That didn't happen because, as we all know, the world shut down. So my buddy Reggie, who I met at a job probably 2 years before that, we were very big into working out. So Reggie came over my house one day during COVID. And we were he had this this little camera, and it was so cool because it had a thing that you could press a button and out flip the what the hell are those things called? Hard drive.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, dude, this thing was like 10, 12 years old. And we're like, man, let's record some. So, we're having fun with it. We're recording, we're throwing around tires, lifting weights. And he was like, man, look, we should make something, man, da 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 da. And we were just talking and, man, lifting, man. Lifting love.
Early stage content too, compared to now. That's early stage content.
Oh, none of the content ever saw light of day. We actually lost the camcorder thing that it was on. But we were like, man, lifting, man. What are we gonna do, man? Let's lift love. Let's lifting love, man. That's it. And it was born. Excuse me. Every time I tell that story, I gotta bring Reggie involved, because he was a big part of the early stages and what we did. He's even involved now. We don't talk as much as we did. He's definitely not like involved on the day to day, but we do keep in touch. And
big shout outs to Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie,
big shout outs
baby.
to you, man.
Man, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Reg. So that's 2020, and then we did the podcast. The podcast, like I said, 145 episodes. I think 60 guests. And we kind of took off with that. Never became anything. And I think we, in total, throughout my year and a half of doing that, we made like $20. And then everyone was doing like these reaction videos, and I was like, okay, let's try these reaction videos. So I started doing a couple reaction videos. They did pretty well as far as numbers. But still, it got to a point where I was like, I don't know what the heck I want to do. So I was going job to job. I was still doing fire. I was a volunteer. Became an EMT. And while I was actually working as an EMT, I had an opportunity. And I mean, dude, at this time, I was just applying to every fire department I could. Like, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do the rest of my career. This is it. I don't care about anything else. And I get a call from the fire department that I worked for out here. And they were like, hey, me and Chief, man, shout out to Chief Fisher. Hopefully we can have him on the podcast one day. He was like the coolest dude ever. We had like a 30-minute conversation. He was like, man, I'm gonna try my best Southern accent, so I apologize if I offend anybody. Man, let me tell you something. No, it's not even how he talks. He has he's like one of them guys. He has like a big thing of dip right here in his mouth, and he's like, let me tell you something, man.
That's great.
But no, I love Chief Fisher. Shout out to Chief Fisher, great human being. And he was like, man, like, we want you to be a part of this. We love your energy. And 2 months after that, I got the green light that, hey, you're going to be a full-time fireman in North Carolina. And I was like, let's do it. I move out there. Still to this point, Lifting Love Reacts is not even a thing, right? Well, it's up, right? We have a YouTube channel, but like we're at this point, we're not even posting because like it was nothing. This was over a year ago. So it's a year and some change ago, not posting. So the academy happens. So I move out. The academy happens. I just want to shout out Marty. He let me live with him for like 2 months in his basement. I lived in his basement, had my own little like 1 bedroom, 1 bath little thing with a kitchen. Shout out to Marty. He let me live there while I was in the academy until Gabby moved down, my wife. And so I'm in the academy and I meet Hyatt. I always mess up his name. I think it's Hyatt, but I'm gonna call him Hyatt. my dog, that dude Hyatt, on all social media. And I was like, man, I have like this crazy idea. Like, I want to try like, some sports trivia, public interviews, whatever. And oh man, hold on a second. So we go and we're just like, you know what? How are we going to do this? I'm researching how to do public interviews. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're just going to go to a mall, because I typed in public interviews and the first thing that came up was a mall. So we went to the mall, and it was like, I think it was November 26th or November 27th. It was like that week after Thanksgiving. We went and we recorded content, and it was so much fun. I mean, we got kicked out of the mall, but whatever. It was so much fun. Like, we were just having fun with people, laughing, joking. It was such a great time. And I was like, this is it. Not even a year ago, bro. Not even a full year. Next month, at the end of the month, will be a full year when we did our first video. But
I think we should push for a big celebration for that.
we should.
Also for your 1000th video
Yes, 1000th video coming up. It's crazy to think that.
in a year.
And it's so funny, too, because we went and did that first video. And this is a story I'll never forget, because it put like a pit in my stomach, and it made me feel like maybe this isn't the thing I want to do. So we're going around, we're asking people like, hey, you want to be a part of this? Like, I wasn't even like, now I go up to people like, hey, my name's Lenny, I'm a YouTuber, we do public interviews. Back then I was like, hey man, we're doing this video, man. Like, I was so awkward and weird. Now I walk up to people like, hey man, I'm a YouTuber, like, this is what we do. So I'll never forget, we go up to this booth. It's like a Christmas booth. You could take a photo with Santa. And I was like, hey, any of y'all want to answer public interviews, win $10, whatever. The first guy was like, well, how many followers you got? And at that point we had like 100, 150, 120. And like, I showed him, and he was like, not worth my time. I was like, so I literally said to him, verbatim, what I said to him is, well, the next time you see me, I'm going to have this many followers. And the next time you see me, I'm not going to be giving out $10. I'm going to be giving out $100. So I can't wait to see that guy one day and just be like, hey, I'm still doing it. But it was just the nastiest comment that I ever had out here, because it's so much love out here. It's not like New York. I feel like I got a lot of I feel like New York, it's like that energy, but out here, that was the only one comment I've ever gotten. And I was just like, I'm going to stay locked in. So anyway,
I like it.
We started doing it. I think we did 4 videos in totals. We did 2 at the Panther Stadium. We did 2 in the mall. They all did really well number-wise. And so we stopped doing that for a little bit. And then I started doing reaction videos February. And I was like, man, okay. And then I posted every day, up until recently we took a break. But during that time, I went up to Gabby and I was like, Gab, I think this is like a real possibility. We're over 1,000 followers now at this point, and everything was happening, and all the momentum is just building, right? And I talked to Gabby. I said, Gabby, I love the fire department. I really did. I loved everything about it. I loved helping people. I hated, the one thing I did hate was the toxic masculinity that was in the fire department. Oh, I'm better than you, or that. Shut up. Like, we don't care for that, bro. Like, we're here for the community. We're here to help the people. I feel like it was very sporty, right? It was like individual, like sporty. That was like the one thing I hated about it. But other than that, I loved what I got to do. I got to ride the trucks. I felt like a little kid every day I went to work. But I sat down with Gabby and I was like, Gab, I said, I think this is it. And she was like, well, you need to work for a little bit, and then I was like, okay. So I left there and I worked like two other little jobs that were like part-time. She was like, you can do part-time, whatever. And dude, I was just cranking out videos, bro, every day, multiple a day, month. And this is probably like this is May. It's like May. And I was like, I'm leaving. And she goes, what? I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm not working again. Like, this is going to be it. And she goes,
I remember you talking to me about all this. We just had started talking about, I was just starting thumbnails with you, like right around that time.
Yeah. So insert DJ. I put up like a post of like people who I needed thumbnails, because like that's your biggest thing, right? We have over 1.5 million impressions, but people aren't clicking on videos. So our biggest thing is getting people to click on videos. So we need better thumbnails. So met DJ, all this is happening, all this momentum is riding this wave, right? And I talked to Gabby. I said, give me time. And she goes, you know what? You got 6 months. Figure it out. And I was just like, we here, boy. LLC. We're in the process. We got some funding. We're in the process of looking for more funding currently. I mean, a lot of things have just happened. We're making videos. We're making content. You know, unfortunately, last month we got demonetized for some BS reason that nobody told us about. Like no information at all. But we're here, man. We're growing. We turned from just doing YouTube content to also being a social media agency. So we help create social media presence for businesses. And, you know, and we just try to help them generate business. And that's what we do. We're currently working with a chiropractor and an insurance agent. So we're just trying to help people grow and build their business. And that's what it's all about. It's all about awareness. You're not seen until you're seen. But on the flip side, I also get to do cool food reviews and public interviews. And, you know, that's really who I am. I'm Lenny from Lifting Love.
I love everything about it. And now I got some questions.
He definitely got some Chat GPT questions coming up. Here we go.
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we should ask Chat GPT for some. Just kidding. No, maybe not. Anyway, one of my questions are, so I'm gonna, for the viewers listening, I want you to tell us your experience with some things. All right.
With some things?
Yeah. So one of those being living in the basement experience. That was one of the first things that popped into my mind.
Oh man, dude, Marty, dude, shout out to Marty, man. I hope he's listening to this. I'm gonna send him this video. But great dude. So he owns his own dog training and a dog daycare business. Okay. And so we live in this basement, right? So he lives in a big old house, right? So I'm in the basement, have my own shower, my own bathroom, my own living area, TV. Bro, I had the setup, dude. I was rocking it. He also had dogs in the back. Shout out to Grayson, was one of my favorite dogs out of the bunch. So I mean, when he would go on like hunting trips, like I'd look after the dogs. There was like 15 or 20 of them. But man, it was definitely a weird experience. It was cool being like on my own. But he gave me, you know, it was a blessing. He gave me a month and a half to really just figure myself out, wait for Gabby to come down. He didn't ask for a single dollar. I tried to pay him and he literally said, no, I'm not taking a single dollar. He said, go do it. I was like, we here. He was one of the reasons I was able to become top of my class. So I finished at the top of my class, like intellectually. And you know, I contribute all that success that I had to Marty and letting me stay there. Yeah, he was also a fireman, I should mention. So he was like 20 years in. I mean, the dude can tie a knot blindfolded behind his back, getting beat up. Like this guy was just crazy. I just can't explain it, but like he just knew his shit. Like he was on his game all the time. And you know, but yeah, shout out Marty.
Good job. Congrats, Marty. So next question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the inspiration for you to say, hey, because I know you and Gabby had that conversation of like, I see this going in a certain direction. What was an inspiration for you to be like, what was the switch that made you go, hey, I'm just doing this as a thing on the side, to like, I want to do this full time? Like what made that switch? Like, you know, you're heavily involved, you're full time at the fire department, you're doing this, or, even though doing those part-time jobs. And what made you to just be like, I want to do this like 24/8, 8 days a week?
I mean, you're talking social media, right? And like content creation.
Well, so when you started Like
When
with
I made
lifting
this,
love
you're
reacts.
saying when I made the switch, what was the inspiration to like, why am I doing this basically, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Why are you doing this? Exactly. What made you make that leap into doing
Realistically,
it?
realistically, I think it's fear, regret. I feel for so long. There's been things that I've regretted. Right, I made a couple mistakes when I was younger, and maybe I'd be in a different position if I stayed at this job longer. Should I have finished college? Should I have tried harder in high school to maybe get an offer or be able to go to a different college? Should I have went away for college? I have all these little regrets that really, at the end of the day, don't mean nothing to me now because I'm living out something that I love. There's just this rush, this feeling I get anytime I record a video that I don't get anywhere else. Like, this is my brand. This is everything that I've ever wanted it to be. For me, like, I love that it's a heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I really do feel like,
Or in this case, on your chest.
yeah, I really do feel like and believe wholeheartedly that Lifting Love will be successful and it will be something that everyone will talk about. And I mean, it's really just like that fear of regretting life. Like we talked about it last week. I don't want to be on my deathbed being like, oh my God, I should have done this. And why didn't I do Lifting Love? But it's really now just, I wanted to do it. And for so long, everything I've done has always been like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Like, what are people going to think at this point? Like, excuse my language. I know we're trying to be PG and DJ hates that I'm not PG, but fuck what people think. I believe in myself enough. I believe in my brand enough. I see the vision. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. And does it suck now? Yeah, it sucks so much. I'm not making as much money as I could be working at a 9 to 5 doing this and that. But I wake up every day and I'm happy, dude. Like, it's so rewarding. It's fun. I have a great time. Now I just got to bring in money. I got to meet people. For my company, I need to get more views, right? That's how it works, right? So yeah, fear, regret, and just not doing it, right? Because I feel like I would have hated myself if I didn't do it, opposed to struggling in the moment, but actually getting it done. If that answered your question.
It did. I think that's good. I got one more, so we'll do three questions. So the third one being, so now you're living it.
Yeah.
You're living this, and
Every day.
we're living this every day.
Every day.
And you're, for those looking outside of the lens of, hey, I'm in that office job, I'm in that job I hate, I'm in that mindset, I don't want to be here kind of thing. What could you say or inspire, however you want to take that, to someone who is thinking about either starting their own brand, starting their own business, starting their own company, clothing brand, social media brand? What can you say to inspire them?
I can't say anything. I feel this very strongly. If you haven't made an effort to do it, nothing I say can make you want to do it. So I think the biggest thing when doing this is, first off, obviously you have to find out what you're going to do, right? You can't just be like, I'm going to quit my job and not do anything or wait to research. So if I'm in that position, right, if I go back 7-8 months from now, all I did was research, right? Is making the jump to social media, is it worth it? How much do YouTubers make? What type of videos should I make on YouTube? Like, I did all my research on the back end. So again, you have to want to do it. But to go back to what you're saying, if I'm in that position, if I'm giving advice to somebody, I can't give you inspiration. You have to deep down inside know you want to do it and actually make a conscious effort to do it on a daily basis. You wake up, it can't be, maybe I'll leave my 9 to 5 one day. No, it has to be like, in 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, I'm leaving this fucking job and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. So first off, find what you want to do. When you find what you want to do, YouTube, Google, ask people who are in the field, research, call people. Even if you just shadow someone for a day, take a day off of work, go shadow someone. Let's say, and I'm just using an example, you want to be a real estate agent. Example, Call any damn real estate agent that you can find that will let you just shadow them for a day and ask them a million questions. I think the thing is that sometimes people make the leap without knowing. For me, I kind of had an idea. And then actually in the last couple months, the social media agency thing came in. And I was like, I do it for myself. So why can't I do it for other businesses? Like, it just makes sense, right? So find out what you want to do. That's the first thing. Second off, research it to confirm that it is the thing you want to do. And then lastly, after you research, you have to put the work in. There's so many people who just think it comes easy. And honestly, I'll be the first one to admit it. I was that person at first. I was like, this is easy. Like, I have a great personality. Lifting love, it's a great cause. But still, people sometimes don't give a shit. Like, it's just a simple matter of the fact. Like, we have a great brand. We have a nonprofit. We feed families. Our motto's lift, love, crush, hate. We're a damn heart for, like, how much more can we say we're doing good things? We have a little heart. I wear a heart on my chest every day. Like, this is what we do. But some people just don't give a shit. So, again, figure out what it is. Research. Make sure you actually want to do it. And then put the damn work in. Don't sit here and be like, it's not happening. I don't know why it's not happening.
You're working the 9 to 5, and then the 6 to
10 or 6 to 9,
6 to 12.
Listen, 12, and here's another thing too.
Get some sleep still.
Here's another thing too. I know a lot of people who have this cycle where they'll sit on their phone all night and just watch TikTok. Take that time. Use TikTok. Real estate agent, fitness trainer, whatever. There's so many people who do this, who do social media too, and have a presence online. Go watch what they do. YouTube, Google, TikTok. Use these platforms that we have, these 3 platforms to, you know what, maybe I don't want to do this. And then find out something else. Listen, and here's the thing, and this is a thing that I used to talk about on my podcast, the Lifting Love podcast, when we used to have it coming in 2024. Stay tuned on the Lifting Love Podcast Network. Some people... And it's okay if you don't have this desire, this drive, this want to not work a 9 to 5. Some people love it. Some people, it works for them. Being an entrepreneur, being a business person, running your own thing is not for everybody. Some people are made for and want to and love working 9 to 5, coming home with their family, having a consistent schedule, having your weekends off, having your 4 weeks of vacation a month, and that's okay. But some people, like us, I like the crazy schedule. And does it suck? It does. Right? For you, this weekend, all you did was work and you were away from your family. It sucks. But the benefits outweigh the rewards. In 30 years from now, when your kids are out of college and are like, Dad, I don't know what I want to do with my career. Come work for me. This is what you're going to run. This is your thing. And that's for me what my motivation is. So if your motivation is I want to make money, stay at your 9 to 5. Because leaving your 9 to 5,
that's not a motivation.
That is not a motivation.
It sounds like it at the time. Yes, this economy is not the best. However,
listen, I'll be clear and transparent. I have made $0 since jumping from making my 9 to 5, like leaving my 9 to 5. So that was 3 months ago. This month we're about to we are very close to breaking 1,000 for the month of. We went from 0 to 1,000. So in the last 3 months, I have not made a single dollar. Let me say that again for the people. The last 3 months, I have not made a single dollar. But people think this shit is easy. It's not. It will fuck you up in the brain. You will think you're not good enough. You will think you're worthless. It is hard. So don't come into this thinking, oh, dude, I just got to put a little bit of work in. I'm going to make the money. No, it's not like that. Business, entrepreneurship, brand building is a long-term investment. This podcast for us is a long-term investment. And I believe in it. I know DJ believes in it. And not even just this podcast. I believe in my brand. I know DJ believes in his brand. And one last thing I'll leave you with is find people who are minded the same way you are. I never got into business because I was around people who were not business-oriented people. Me and DJ, when we talk, it's always like, how can we improve each other? Hey, whatever. There's like our conversations are about improving, not about, yo, you trying to grab a drink? Yo, you trying to go to the club? You trying to do this? We're also at different stages in our life, so I get it.
But still, we're at a similar business mindset ish. Like we're not about to jump off and go to the bar to have a merry time. We're looking to improve each other.
And in our businesses and our brand, because we see the long-term vision of this. And what I'm saying is that if you feel like you're not successful, check the people around you. Because, it's funny that, Ben, but one of
Shout out to Ben Murray.
Ben Murray, Scott, one of my youth pastors, growing up, I also owe a lot of my success to the Harbor.
Harbor Church, Santa
Church,
Mauritius, New York.
I owe them a lot of my, a lot of credit goes to them because they kind of taught me how to just be a man, right? And Scott Jankowski, shout out to Pastor Scott. One of his best messages that I remember to this day, this is over 7, 8, 9, this is 10 years ago. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And I'll never forget that he said that.
Boom. And that's hard.
10 years later, it is like the craziest thing because it's so true. And the people I've surrounded myself with, who I talk to on a regular basis, are all in the entrepreneurial field. Like, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And it's so crazy that the people around you, your environment, is just so influential. So what I'm saying is another thing, right? If you're right, let's say you researched, you found out what you wanted to do, and you put the work in. Why is this not successful? Well, are you partying on the weekends? Are you hanging around the wrong crowd? Like, there's so many other factors. So if you are doing this and you're not successful, check your environment. And that's the last thing I'll say, because I'm sorry, I can talk all day.
That was a mic drop. Like, you should just dropped. Ow. Oh, that hurt my soul. But it was good. It was a good hurting. Like, you need that professional building right there, because I think somebody out there needed to hear that today to make that change, to make that leap.
But I think it's true because people think it's real easy, right? Like, and I'm a big fan of podcasts. So I was listening to Podcast P. It's a podcast with Paul George. He's a player on the Clippers, and they were interviewing. This is months ago. They were interviewing Steve Ballmer, but I watched it recently, and it's what they were talking about the same thing. It's like the biggest thing he said on that podcast was you need to know the long-term investment, but also the micro, the day-to-day. So I feel like there are some people, and what I took from that is I believe there are some people who understand that this thing can be successful, right? But they're looking at it long-term, or they're looking at it flip-wise. They're looking only day-to-day. They're not looking at the long-term. Some people get so stuck in this, I have a quota, I have to make my rent this month, I have to do this. And that, obviously, you have to do all those things. But
yes, we can't say you can't make a living. Like, there's obviously keep yourself maintained.
Exactly. But at the same time, you should also look to build to a point where you can't handle it and you have to go get employees. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that shout out Podcast P. I love Paul George. He's a phenomenal athlete. And, maybe you're listening to this, maybe you want to come on the podcast anyway. But, so like I said, 3 things: figure out what you want to do, research it, make sure it's what you want to do. And then last but not least, put the work in and do the hard work,
I think that's awesome. Good talk, Lenny. I appreciate you being transparent there. And this is a process. You're going to hear more things than not about both of us throughout this entire journey about what we're doing and what we're currently doing, what we've done, and what we're planning to do. And that's, it's just creating that framework for you to understand what's going on and how we can inspire you and help you make that leap.
And I think that's an important thing too, man. It's just like, you got to make the leap. Like, don't put it off, because it only gets harder. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
It's hard, man. It's hard. And, we're going to be transparent. We're going to, be as open and honest with you guys as possible. And, to be quite frank, we're both not there yet. So we're both learning and growing and every day, so I don't want y'all to think that we're sitting here talking to y'all like experts, because we're not experts in any stretch of the imagination. But we've been doing this. DJ's in this almost 10 years, and we'll hear more about his story on the next episode. Me, I'm only in 6 months. Sorry, I'm playing with this thing, but we're not experts, but one day we'll both have multi-million-dollar companies, and that's just a fact. So, again, man, it goes back to environment. Figure out who the heck you want around you, because at some point, no matter what you do, you're going to have to build a team. And I'm starting to become more and more comfortable and happy with the team I'm building. And it's a great experience. It's a great, I wouldn't trade it for the world. So I'm happy where I'm at, and Lifting Love Reacts and Lifting Love and, Lifting Love Podcast Network, where everything's going to go crazy. The foundation, all that stuff. So I'm excited for the future. And, I look forward to what this podcast is going to become, leaving the 9 to 5. Last thing I want to leave you guys with is do it, but don't do it because you have to, right? Do it because you want to. And I think that's a big thing in entrepreneurship that people struggle with. Do it because you want to. Find something you love, do it because you love it, not because you have to do it, right? Like a 9 to 5, you have to do it, right? We all have to make money, right? But that'll all come in due time. So I wish you guys the best of luck in your entrepreneurship journey. Stay tuned for this podcast and what it becomes, because it's going to be great. We want to hear from you guys, so make sure you drop some things in the comments. But that was my story. If y'all have any more questions, please DM. We'll answer all questions, anything and everything y'all want to hear. We'll make it happen.
DM, comments, email, social.
We're gonna get the leaving the 9 to 5. It'll probably be leaving the 9 to 5 at gmail.com or something.
Well, we posted it in the description and everything below here, so you're good.
But without further ado, DJ, you got anything else?
No. And we'll be talking about TechLight, I think, coming up next.
Yeah, next episode. Make sure y'all stay tuned. TechLight Associates and everything DJ is doing for his company. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But until next time, as always, everything here on the Lifting Love Podcast Network. Lift love, crush hate. Leave that damn 9 to 5. We out.
We'll see you out.
Yup.